All right, traders from around the world, big video for you today. This is a video describing my thoughts on the Airbnb IPO. Is it worth your time? How should you invest in it? Where should you invest in it? And at what prices? We all know how impactful and incredible Airbnb can be long-term. So this video will cover my thoughts, analysis, and perspective of both short-term and long-term. Thanks for watching, you rock, and enjoy this video. So what I like to do is go in and look at previous IPOs that are in a similar space in some version and describe what they've done and start creating a pattern and plan for what I think Airbnb is going to do. Also, make sure you stay to the end of this entire video as I will be having one of the greatest real estate investors in the entire world discuss her thoughts on the Airbnb IPO as well. Here's the thing, Airbnb is a massive name in the investment space and in the staying space. It's much larger than VRBO, and it really is a very popular site that many people go on every single day. We're talking hundreds of thousands of people. And I'm kind of comparing it to Uber a little bit. Now, Uber was an IPO that came out and was just absolutely hemorrhaging money. Still is, but in essence, what we can see is Uber has recovered since this IPO. This was, I would argue, probably the biggest IPO, and Uber will be the next one. This is one that everyone knows, everyone uses, everyone talks about. Generally, when you get situations and companies like that, the ones that everyone uses, everyone knows, and everyone talks about, everyone wants to invest in, you'll normally get a move that happens like this. Something where you get an initial selling, where the people who bought in really early, they start selling to lock in their gains, and then the initial public buys, and then the smart money sells, and you get a big dip. I really do think the Airbnb chart initially is going to look a lot like Uber. Now, simply saying that to say, when I played Uber and I was going back and talking about Uber's IPO, my analysis was that it was likely going to go lower, but if you use Uber or like Uber, you should probably buy 20 shares every week or so and just continue owning those shares until you're profitable. So if you had bought 20 shares of Uber every single week, granted, it wasn't a huge investment of time or money, but eventually you started becoming profitable around April, and then you started really crushing it in November, and right now you're just absolutely dominating it because you have a lot of shares below the $30 cost basis. So in general, at this point, Uber breaking out above all resistance levels, really good pattern. It looks like it's going to continue higher. And if we go look at some of the other companies that Airbnb is going to be competing with, of course, we got to look at Hilton and Marriott and some of the actual hotels. Marriott, Hilton, and a lot of the hotel chains have made sure that they've put in some really big resistance from Airbnbs going into certain cities, certain states, and even certain countries. But what you'll notice is the hospitality industry is not going away and has not gone away ever. Even in 2008, when you had a really big crash, yes, obviously most companies declined and Marriott was not impervious to that. You'll see that Marriott had about a 70% drop in 2008, but then it recovered very nicely. Speaking of 70% drop, during COVID, Marriott had about a 70% drop and then started recovering nicely. Kind of crazy the way it works, but Marriott is a rock solid company. People that use Marriott like Marriott and will continue to like Marriott. Same thing with Hilton, which is ticker symbol HLT. Hilton worldwide, wide. So Hilton actually coming out on the market back here in 2014, had that what I refer to as the pre-IPO, the IPO low dip, which is a phenomenal place to get in on certain stocks. So, there's the IPO low right here. There's the dip, right? Really that pocket of liquidity, trapping tons and tons of people, getting that buy, and then creating the opportunity for it to surge higher. So Hilton, really good buying spot back in 2016. But again, we came back down to that almost exact same price on Hilton back during COVID, and we've completed and rallied since. Now, again, with Airbnb coming out and IPOing, yes, the IPOs, when it hits the market, obviously they're doing that to raise cash and to raise capital, which should potentially cause investors to worry. But I don't think anyone believes that Airbnb is going anywhere. All right, I'm here with my biffle, my best friends, business partner, colleague, and stock market specialist, Brittany Turner. But more than that, she is a both Airbnb and real estate specialist, and someone who has and is impacting the world, developing nations, and changing the globe for good. She's a force for good, thus G-Force. So Brittany, what's your thoughts on Airbnb as an IPO, as a company?
Gosh, I'm so excited. You know, COVID's not gonna last forever.
No.
So this is a great time to get deals, and it's kind of a weird time for them to IPO to me.
Yeah.
Because it's not at their all-time high. So I plan on buying a lot of stock at some point, whenever advised by my genius coach over here. And we're gonna be watching it. So I believe in the company. I personally have done very well. It has created so much opportunity for so many people to have new streams of income and to truly turn their home into an asset. Most people think their house is an asset, but if it doesn't create income for you, then it's not.
Yes.
If it takes money, it's a liability. If it gives money, it's an asset. And so with such a unique and creative opportunity such as Airbnb and what you can do with your home, it's going to keep thriving. Yes, there are regulations, but there's always ways around things and other places that it does work. So I believe the IPO will be successful.
Yep.
I don't know how all the ins and outs of it works on when's the best time, but I believe and I'm excited. I think it'll be a really good deal when the market turns around and people are back to traveling the way that they really want to, then it's going to be amazing. Yeah.
And the big key about Airbnb is they have experiences. So it's not just the hotel aspect. It's not just the places to stay. As an Airbnb owner, do you have experiences as well along with your Airbnbs?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, and that's one of the most important things. He's like, well, how have your Airbnbs done through COVID? I said, we're creative and our properties are unique and we do things out of the box and we make sure that experientially staying in the property is fun and meaningful and you can be creative, and we're intentional with all the little things from the soap to getting a journal to having a special wine, and all the products we give people are also force for good products that give back to creating jobs. So people are having an experience in the property, they can have experiences attached to the property, and when you do that, we've been able to do well no matter what the market's doing.
Right.
I mean, my properties have stayed booked, and I of course have done longer stays for some of the bigger ones and more expensive ones. There's the point is there's always a way.
Yep.
If you want to find an excuse, you will. If you want to find a way, you will. And I've done really well with all mine.
Love it. So let's go talk about those fundamentals on Airbnb's IPO and what I think about it long term. And any company, I think, that allows people to directly become an entrepreneur and create assets into their life, I think those are force for good companies, which will in turn cause a company to go higher. Some examples, right? Upwork, UPWK. I am in a large position on Upwork, and I do think Upwork is going to be going higher, mostly because it's a company that, again, allows people to partake in the stock, people to use the company, people to put their services out there for the world. That's what Upwork looks like, UPWK. So if we pop over to Upwork, this is kind of what we see, and you're able to, offer your services as a designer, creator, writer, sales and marketing engineer, data scientist, customer service, admin and support. So this is a way where people that might not have a job or might want to do a side hustle, young and or old, can really create value for their family, for themselves, and for other companies, in turn causing the stock to go higher because people are using it, people like it, people are engaged in it, people are buying it. It's a good service. And yeah, Upwork has been on fire, and I think will continue to be on fire. Fiverr is another one, right? So if we're looking at Fiverr, you'll see that we opened up, we trade sideways, then we continued higher. The reason I'm bringing this up is most IPOs do this. I've had a lot of IPOs in the past, but companies that people use that benefit the world, again, Uber being among them, Uber, Fiverr, Upwork, and we can't forget Etsy. All of those companies had the initial run up early, had a sinking down momentum, and then slowly consolidated to eventually absolutely go gangbusters. I do not think Airbnb will be any different. It's a service industry. It's an industry where people can turn their liabilities into assets. It's where people can use their skills, services, minds, beliefs, and creative juices to, again, create cash flow for themselves and for their family, and in turn create opportunities for so many others. I think this is a great company. I think Airbnb, on a fundamental, long-term, creative, and technical perspective, will go higher, but don't look to get in immediately. Look for the initial rally, some selling, and then some consolidation. And once that consolidation begins, at that point in time, feel free to start picking up some shares of Upwork. If you want to, feel free to start picking up some shares of Airbnb. If you want to consider taking the exact same strategy I applied on Uber, where you just buy some shares every week or so, slowly accumulate over time, and then hold until you get a really, really nice sized chunk, feel free to do that. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there. I'm very excited about Airbnb, and I can promise you all, if you're watching this video, come back and get on my channel. I will be posting all kinds of videos showing how I absolutely murder Airbnb, because I'm really, really excited about the price action on this chart. Volume is going to be amazing. Options going to be amazing. The bid-ask spread is going to be great. Super, super jazzed up about it. Anyway, that's my analysis based on simply what the company does and also comparing it to the previous companies and IPOs that have come out before them that are in similar veins as far as I see it. I hope it was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, love life, and trade it. You rock.